A local butterfly garden in Appleton may close next year if current owners can't find a buyer. Butterfly Gardens of Wisconsin posted on their website that the owners, Jack and Marty Voigt, are looking to retire at the end of this year. In the post, the couple writes that they're hoping to find a partner or buyer for the garden so it can remain open. Jack told Action 2 News this afternoon some prospective buyers have reached out to express their interest in taking over the facility, but nothing is yet set in stone. For now, the garden's last day of the season is September 4th. Here's